The business community loves the arts. That said, there hasn't been much financial backing of it. And this falls on the artist. Every artist out there should know that it's your responsibility to run for public office, join a commission, serve on a board, be on a committee. Because if you're not present, we're not going to be recognized. This is our community. Hi, my name is Mark Fraire. I'm the Director of Dane County Arts and Cultural Affairs, also known as Dane Arts, which rests in the heart of county government. And I have the pleasure of reporting directly to the county executive. The mission is to support the arts, history, and culture of Dane County, and this is The Layered Onion. Well, the origin is back around 2014. I was thinking that we needed to help independent working artists on a higher level. I got my MBA in finance from the great UW-Madison, and I was very clear about everybody in the program I was in the MBA program were not artists and had no insights into the work of artists. And every artist I knew had very minimal insight into the work of business. How do they sustain the life that they're leading? How do they manage it? Many of them want to stay in Dane County and Madison in particular. So how do they do that and still be able to sustain their lifestyle and run their small business as artists? So it was very clear that artists, if you don't go to graduate program or back to school on some level and get into a program, there are not really any opportunities to learn about the business of art. And I want to make sure artists understand that they have control over how they run their business, how they market it, how they budget it, financing, every way possible to sustain at some level their work as artists, and so it was very clear to me that the only way I could do that is if I started the Business of Art Conference. And this was based on all my conversations with artists when I started the Dane Arts Buy Local Art Market. We were the first organization, Dane Arts, to produce a night market here in Madison, and was at the US Bank building. And the idea was to get businesses to come and meet these artists in this beautiful glass atrium at the US Bank building and meet artists and buy art and get that relationship going and provide artists an opportunity to see what it is and what you need to do to sustain your life as a small business owner. Meet business people, shake hands, be out there. And it's really hard for a lot of artists to do that, which is one reason they're artists. They'd rather be in their studios. But if you're in your studio, then you're not promoting yourself. If you're not promoting yourself, then you're not getting any business. And so it's a real ugly scenario between creating my art and managing my business. So I'm trying to help artists, as I like to joke, mind their own business. Do the work that's necessary so you can do the work that's important to you, because that's what drives their soul. There's not an artist I meet that doesn't talk about what it does for one's spirit when you're creating the art. So they've got to create it, So I'm just trying to help them do that, and at the same time build a better community here in Dane County, because we know the arts generate that kind of return on investment in terms of the aesthetics of the work we do, the spirit it brings to us, the livelihood, the love, the joy that art creates. And that's what I'm trying to do at Dane Arts, which we are lucky to have a county in which there is an office dedicated to the arts, history, and culture. Generally, it's a office that's parks and recreation and cultural arts, managed by somebody that doesn't really know much about the arts, and it gets in the way of actually helping artists help themselves. I'm a comedian. I do stand-up comedy. At least I did for many years. And laughter is a genuine release of good feelings and high emotions in a positive way. If you laugh, rarely are you going to be angry after you laugh. It generates the endorphins in your brain. It provides a good feeling. For me, wellness is about how do I make my life better? I practice yoga. I exercise daily. All these tools that make my life better for me spiritually is why I gravitate to the arts, music, dance, theater, film. You ever see music put on and a child automatically, spontaneously starts dancing? That's infectious. But we lose it as we get older, and we don't have that in our lives. And yet people over 65 or older that retire often turn to the arts as a release to get that spiritual guidance. And they often say to me, I should have done this 20 years ago. Why didn't I do this when I was younger? Exactly. So what we're trying to do, and what it does for me, is build an awareness of who I am and what I can give back. I can't give back if I'm scared, if I'm hurt, if I'm oppressed. I can give back when I feel better about who I am as a person. And the arts do that. And wellness is a major part of that. Mental health issues is really significant in this community. You know, the opioid addiction is really significant. Fentanyl, all these ways that people are using substances and escaping and providing a really discomfort to who they are as a people. Well, I think the arts answer that and address that. And the same thing with violence. I rarely will you see a kid who's practicing music or training in theater or reading or writing pick up his fist and fight, because he's too busy or she's too busy working on the craft of feeling the spiritual guidance that the arts provide. Yoga, meditation, sports, what I call sports and arts, you know, disciplines that we can really gain and generate spiritual well-being by participating in. That's what the arts are about. I think one of the barriers is that somebody at a young age was told they can't sing, they can't dance, you can't draw. So, okay, why should I? You know, and that's part of, you become an older adult, you remove from that idea of spontaneous joy. You remove from that idea of that you can create to make your world better by making yourself feel better. It's just been ingrained in folks that you got to be business, you got to make money, you got to do this, as opposed to a combination of all those avenues in which you can practice your art. You can still work in the for-profit sector. You can still make money, but you still have to practice the ability to care and empathize with others. And I think what's happening is that at an early age, it gets beaten out of them in school, and it's only going to get magnified with what's happening politically, that the arts are not going to be available. And those, let's just create widgets, kids who just make a product. Blah, blah, blah. The arts go against that grain. The arts help you become a better person. So I think, you know, what's a baby say? What's the first word out of a baby's mouth? Mama. What's the second word out of a baby's mouth? Why? You know, and then it comes to be at the age 3 or 4, I don't know. About age 5, what do they say? Who cares, right? So we beat it out of them at an early age. And we know developing a kid's young mind as a toddler and adolescent just expands into making you a powerful, beautiful adult. And here's an example. My father and mother made sure that we learned 2 instruments in our lives. We had to learn how to play the piano, and we had to learn a second instrument. And I think he wanted us to do that because he wanted us to have the ability to be diverse in our handling of the piano, left and right hand, reading the music, being able to do that whole scale of working and understanding and reading music. He wanted us to be ambidextrous in that way, creative thinking. He didn't necessarily want us to be artists, but he wanted us to have that in our minds and our abilities to think creatively by being able to understand the piano. And then the second instrument, my second instrument was a saxophone. But my father also trained us at an early age for speed reading. And when we were younger, we used to have a game board where you click on and you read phrases just to practice on your speed reading and ability to navigate information in a quick second. He even had me as a young child look at record players on this record and the turntable backwards and try to read it backwards so I could train my eyes for being able to read music in a way that allowed me to be more dexterous and creative in my thinking. And he did that with all the kids, all 6 of us. And it wasn't a matter of making us artists, because none of us is an artist, but we're all complete people because of the arts in our lives. So I think what happens is that it gets disrupted in those early years, and then it gets pushed away, and then you're an adult and it's nothing to do with it. And then you reach age 60 and you realize, oh my gosh, my soul is empty. Maybe I need to pick up something like music. Getting them started early as a practice, to be invested and engaged in the arts. You know, my son, who's in his final semester of med school at UW, said to me one day not too long ago that he appreciated me introducing him to music because at least he understands and enjoys that anytime, anywhere. So getting them at an early age. I always tell young people that you're going to be my age one day, you know, so be my age with the ability to be able to think creatively and have had the foundation of enjoying the arts. We're not trying to make you artists. We're trying to make you complete people, because with the arts, it completes you as an individual spiritually. You know, that's what we're just trying to do. One of the things we are doing currently is developing a friends group, because we're not a nonprofit, we're a government agency, and nobody wants to give money to government. You know, and again, because of the political landscape today, it's going to be even uglier. because they just think government is a waste of time and energy. But I think government needs to play a role in the arts because we have resources that no other mom and pop shop on a street corner necessarily has access to. But in the next several years, starting the Friends Group, we're starting an employee giving program. We're going to employees and saying, help going to employers and asking them to help your employees determine how best to support the arts. And they can donate from their paycheck, $1 a paycheck over the year to Dane Arts. The beauty of giving to Dane Arts as a donation and fundraising is that it's not going to capital, it's not going to salaries. It goes into Dane Arts and right back out into the community. And that's what we're trying to do. So an employee giving program of Friends of Dane Arts, constantly raising money through foundations and corporations that I work with. With the new county exec coming in who is a strong believer in the arts, I'm very confident that over the next several years, we can build the county support of the arts. My budget for Dane County is 0.06% of an $800 million operation. 0.06%. Going up just 0.07% is an increase of nearly $100,000 a year to the arts. And I think we can do that easily enough, but I need the backing of the new county executive who I think will support this. Because we're trying to position ourselves to show that the arts are ingrained in manufacturing, education, social services, healthcare, every arena, professional sports. We do the posters for the Madison Forward Madison soccer team. Every arena, the arts are ingrained into that. We are trying to show the value of the arts and the impact the arts have in those arenas. We're not trying to just do art for the sake of creating art. There is really high-level art in this community, but what are the arts doing in these arenas to make these employees stronger and better, that want to go to work when they see creative things happening at their workplace, and make the employer better and the company stronger because of the understanding of the dynamics of the arts play in all of our different works and worlds in which we live. So raise money, continue to build the cultural aesthetics of our office by having more staff. I finally have a full-time staff person. It took me 2.5, 3 years to make that happen, but it can happen slowly. And I think with the county executive coming in, we can maybe look to find ways of really engaging the arts on a greater level. Imagine these arts organizations not having to write a grant for $1,000. They could write a grant and get $15,000, $20,000. The impact would be enormous. And I tried to convince the interim county executive who's got social services, housing, all these other jail, all these other issues, impacting the world, was very difficult for her to look at how more money would help support the arts. So I'm trying to position Dane Arts to show these businesses and corporations that we are partnering with you to help you help your employees. We're not just saying, here's art for the sake of art. There's a real strategic plan to the next several years on how we do that. In 2027, Dane Arts turns 50 years. That's significant. This past year was the Wisconsin Arts Board turned 50 years. The Madison Arts Commission turned 50 years. And there wasn't much announcing about that because it's so difficult to plan and really have a big splash. But in 2027, we turn 50, and my hope is that we generate quite a buzz and get some more impact economically in support of the arts. So that's my next 5 years. The business community loves the arts. That said, there hasn't been much financial backing of it. There's backing of it if there's a way that can announce and promote their business, and I understand that. But the return is taken for granted because the arts are everywhere. They think it's something that's just going to happen no matter what. And this falls on the artist. Every artist out there should know that it's your responsibility to run for public office, join a commission, serve on a board, be on a committee. Because if you're not present, we're not going to be recognized. But if we're present, something's going to happen in which you're going to step up and say, hey, no, wait, we need to do this because the arts are critical to who we are as a people. So I think it falls a lot on our responsibilities to be more progressive and impactful in the work that we do beyond just creating art for the sake of creating art. This is our community. We're currently working with Milwaukee, with Art Pharmacy out of Atlanta, Georgia, and Social RX out of Boston, with a number of arts organizations here in Madison, as well as Milwaukee, on healthcare, finding healthcare providers who will pay doctors' fees and prescriptions for doctors to prescribe the arts as a healing tool. Here's your prescription from a doctor. You need to take a theater class over the next 6 weeks at Children's Theater of Madison to better understand how you as a person work. You need to participate in this choir because I think you like to sing, and that seems to be the case that you feel better when you sing. So maybe you need to take a singing program as part of this choir. So Art Pharmacy is working with the healthcare industry to help them provide funding to support doctors prescribing reading, writing, singing, dancing, theater, whatever, to make you feel better. Because we know once you participate in the arts, you feel better. There's just that's why it's so important to get them at an early age, because once the kid tastes it, and once you get that taste, and we've all had it, it's like, I got to do this more. This just makes me feel good. Without any of it being substances or artificial, it's just real. When your body feels it, that makes a big difference. When I was with the Wisconsin Arts Board, I met with largest 5 urban areas to create programming to help artists. So there hasn't been a lot of impact statewide because we ranked 49th, for every 18 cents per capita for support of the arts versus Minneapolis or Minnesota, which is like $9.50. So it's really been tough to work statewide. I know the Wisconsin Arts Board does its best, but they've gotten killed in the debacle with the previous Republican governor who killed the Arts Board. It's now just an office. So it hasn't been very successful statewide. I don't have a lot of experience outside of my 10 years at Dane Arts because it's the county. So I try to look at other like-minded county cultural centers around the country, and there are not that many that are my budget size, my population, that I can really align or kind of use as examples and success of what they're doing. So we're pretty much out there on our own, and it is Wisconsin. So it's been real tough to navigate statewide how we do this. But Create Wisconsin with Ann Katz, Wisconsin Arts Board with George Sugros, Milwaukee and First Stage, Children's Theater of Madison, Arts Lit Lab, and other organizations are trying to figure out how we better support artists statewide, in particular with health insurance and those issues related to wellness. To learn, to network, and to collaborate. We know that we grow as individuals when we reach with other like-minded folks who are experiencing the same experiences you have. When we get out of our studios or out of wherever we work independently, individually, for thousands and thousands of hours. And this is what amazes me. People don't understand the amount of hours an artist serves on his or her own time to do what he or she does. And then to network with others is almost impossible. So come to the conference to network with others, learn basic business skills in budgeting, copyright law, contracts, networking with others, marketing. But at the same time, at this particular conference, see how artists are working within wellness environments and see how artists are working in education. And the one beautiful thing of the many things I think are beautiful about our conference is that we bring people together in a beautiful, like-minded setting in which they come together and can interact with each other like they can't any other time. There's a reception before the conference on the Thursday night at Cafe Coda. We have a great blues band lined up to play, the Madison Madtown boys. They're really incredible. We're working with Cafe Coda in Aubergine, the new Willie Street Co-op community space right next door. There are 2 doors. We'll have both spaces open. It'll be a great opportunity to collaborate and just get together with fellow artists, especially after what's going to be happening over the next several months in terms of politically. So this is a real opportunity for Dane Arts to help you just come together. And we're not working to make money and an income out of this. We are working to bring artists together to make our community stronger. And here's an opportunity for you to either volunteer. If you need some hardships because of payment, we'll work something out with you. We try to keep the price very low. It's 3 days. It's first day and Thursday morning is going to be an interactive grant writing workshop. And if you're an artist, you need to know how to write a grant. That's just simple as that. You need to know that process. And then Friday is going to be focused on wellness and business classes, and Saturday on education and business classes. But we'll have 2 keynote speakers. We'll have food, drink, and a beautiful reception Thursday night before. My name is Mark Fraire. I'm the Director of Dane County Arts and Cultural Affairs. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I know how much time it takes to make this happen, so thank you.